Well, a very good afternoon, and thanks for joining Mike Dixon and myself, David Goldstrom, for what is about to be the start of the women's 4x5 kilometer classic and freestyle relay here in the Veset Stadium. And if you were with us a little earlier today, the magic moment of yesterday, the flash of blue sky, the occasional burst of sunshine, well, that's disappeared, and we're back to snowfall, wind, and winter with a vengeance. It's not terribly cold out there, as Mike Dixon will explain to you very shortly the conditions that the competitors actually face. But first of all, let's rewind to yesterday. Vieppi Koitinen and Aino Kaisa-Saarinen successful in the team sprint, and Aino Kaisa-Saarinen becoming the second double gold medalist of the week.
That was really showing the strength of the Finnish team here.
Yes indeed, we were strong.
How did you pull it off to be so far ahead so early on in the race? That was the plan?
Yeah, we decided after the qualification that it's the best tactic to try to increase the speed from the start, and because we are not so much sprinters than distance skiers, so it's maybe the best weapon we have, and it was paying off today.
We're going to have, the next thing is the relay. Are we going to see a similar tactic in this race from you guys?
You will see tomorrow what kind of tactic we have. We don't tell yet.
Can't you give us a little insight?
No, of course it's a stupidity to tell it here. Let's see tomorrow.
Okay, but what do you expect for the race tomorrow? Do you expect to be that overwhelming better than the others too?
We have a very strong team. Our service team are in amazing shape also, so we'll see.
And you today made the sun come out the first time, so you expect that for tomorrow as well?
I already said to Aiko that if sun didn't come today, it would shine anyway today for us, so we don't care, but of course sun is much more nicer than rain.
Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Sebastian Tiffert there with the two stars of yesterday in the women's division. And now time to really concentrate and get ready for today's competition. We're going to take a little break and then we'll give you the lineup. Finland, of course, the defending world champions. Germany got the silver 2 years ago in Sapporo. Norway, the bronze. Today on the start list, 15 nations. And to tell you about the journey ahead, Mike Dixon standing by when we return. Well, just a couple of minutes before 1 o'clock here, women's 4x5 kilometer relay. Finland, the winners a couple of years ago. Mike, winter's back.
Well, winter is back. Changeable winter's back, because look at this, 2.6. We're way above zero and the rain has started. Snow 0.3. It's hardly got any colder than 0.3 over the last 4 days. Humidity's up again. It was 85 yesterday. It's 95 today.
And the course of, well, it's classic and it's freestyle. And the first two legs in classic here, you can see the differential, Mike, on the freestyle.
Well, that's right. The freestyle is, I would say the first kilometre is certainly in profile much easier, but this killer climb leading up back into the stadium is where I think decisions will be made today, where the race will be won certainly on the final attack, the final leg.
Just a reminder of the temperatures. Mike was mentioning them just a couple of moments ago. And I suppose just reflecting on the track, Mike, could it be a situation that for those who aren't quite as strong in the classic opening legs, trying to maintain contact to then maybe be a force to be reckoned with on the freestyle?
I think that's got to be the tactic. Interesting that, of course, Koitinen, Saarinen, they didn't give anything away about the strategy. All the other coaches, I think, will have figured they'll try the same early attack.
And Mike, you were backstage, so to speak, in the waxing cabins earlier today. Bit of news about Slovenia and Petra Madic and the reasons why they haven't been performing.
That's a pity. They would have been a competitive team. No, they've got some kind of, they called it a stomach flu, but basically Petra last night was sick, so clearly they can't start today. And sadly, I think for Petra Maric, she may even head home now, because there's no way she can race on Saturday feeling this bad.
And the two girls who were due to start in the classic sprint, that's what struck them down yesterday, which is why they were absent at the last moment. So here we are, Finland, Germany, Norway, the gold, silver and bronze medalists. A number of the athletes who competed in the last years, or 2 years ago, in the World Championships in Sapporo, in action again. And also a number of them who competed in the Olympics also in the lineup. Interesting that we've got one or two also with fresh legs. Marit Bjørgen, who didn't go in the sprint yesterday, she comes in to open up the Norwegian challenge. Very interesting. I think the Norwegians have got a decent little quartet here, and I think they could challenge. Maybe Finland aren't going to have it all their own way. Muranen, bronze medalist in the individual sprint. Koitinen, gold medalist yesterday with Aino Kaisa-Saarinen, Ropponen. Very good quartet. And there, Team 2, Germany, Zeller, Sackenbacher on the second leg, and then the biathlete Miriam Gosner and Claudia Neustadt. That's also a decent foursome. Sweden, I've just mentioned Norway, so we'll skip over to Sweden. Lina Andersson from Piteå up in the north, skiing very well. She's in good form. Britta Norgren, Anna Hög and Charlotte Kara. Again, chances there, particularly if they can keep it together for the first half of the race. Here's Marit Bjørgen, and really like to see the Norwegians, and in particular Marit, get some sunshine out of these championships. And they're the Czech Republic's Skalnikova, Radlova, Janikova, Urbanova. Sadly for them, they haven't got Neumannova. Here we go. The starters got them under orders. Away we go. This starter's got the most extreme measure of waiting here, and it's very uncomfortable. Pirjo Moranen leads the echelon out. They stay in lanes for that first 100. Now they can break as they go up the first climb. And Mike, classic leg here. Just tell us what they've got ahead of them.
Classic leg. So it's a climb now for another 300, 400 meters in terms of track time. And then it's quite undulating, so quite easy this next phase, so that this will allow them to go absolutely flat out, because you do get the recovery. Big climb after 1,200 meters. That takes us all the way track-wise up to 1,750 meters. And then easy undulation back round into the stadium. And they're completing this classic leg twice.
And there on the left of your screen, about 4 back from the front runner, is the woman in black. Wearing 15, the great Justyna Kowalczyk, and who's had a rest, been shopping, and has now come back. And the Polish team is a decent little quartet. They've also got Sylwia Jaśkowiec, the very good junior and under-23 champion in their quartet. And whatever happens today, I think that Justyna's going to find this a very, very useful 5-kilometer run in preparation for her challenge for the 30 kilometers on Saturday. And likewise for Yulia Chapalova, the Russian who won her first Olympic title back in 1998, comes into the relay squad on the third leg, and I think that could be a good pipe opener for her.
It certainly could. Justyna Kowalczyk, she was held back a little there. She had to start on the outside lane, but look, she's running past them, running past the German Zeller on the outside there. Yeah. She's just so determined. What a great athlete to have to train as a coach. You would just love to train Kowalczyk.
Yeah, she's every other athlete's nightmare, really. She has so much power. She won't be denied. And two there. That's Katrin Zeller with the pigtails and the dark strip there for Germany. Just coming through. But Kowalczyk has powered her way almost right the way through. She's now up into joint second place.
Yeah, Team 15 at the very back of the start grid, and it is tough actually getting through when it's like this, and you've got the classic tracks cut. You have to go the long way around, which Justyna exactly did. Fall at the back there, 2 athletes just taken out.
And there's the characteristic of this track here. It's not only undulating, it's very twisty and very turny and very easy to get caught, but all credit to Pirjo Moranen, who's been in splendid form. And the bronze medal, she was absolutely delighted with that bronze medal. Obviously, the gold would have been, you know, terrific, but she got herself detached. She knows that, and at the end of it, it was a really happy Peja Moran, and I thought she'd be sad, but she wasn't sad.
Oh, absolutely delighted. A chance to see the fall here. Look at that. Ah, disaster. Hopefully no broken equipment there. The poles break very easily.
Just trying to see, is that the Italian Antonella Confortola? Just had a quick word with Stefania Belmondo about 10-15 minutes ago, and she was very sweet on the Italians' chances to get onto the podium here. And she was suggesting they could be really competitive. So Moranen in the centre with the white hat, blue strip, and on the right there was Kowalczyk as they come up this climb. And that's a really good shot, Mike, because that's one of the best shots we've seen at the championship to give you an idea of this terrain.
And we've left the stadium, the chicane right down to the low point, and it's all about climbing now back to the high point. And it's an extreme hill, this, an extreme climb.
Well, this is food and drink to Kowalczyk, and Alena Sidko for Russia there, going through Team 7, and a little slip from Katrin Zeller. Further back there, just going through, that was Natsumi for Japan.
Well, it was Confortola who fell, David, bib number 6. That's 15 seconds behind. Very bad start for the Italians.
And she looks really uncomfortable there. I mean, it looks, I'm not sure whether she was hurt, but certainly she was winded. She's lost her confidence. She's lost her focus. And that's an awful start for the Italians. Whether they can pull back from that, well, we're just going to have to wait and see. Kowalczyk, rather predictably, has gone from 15th to 1st. And it's Marit Bjørgen who's chasing her. The Norwegians with Johaug and Steyr and Kristoffersen, I think that's a really good quartet. And they trusted Marta Kristoffersen with the anchor leg. Once upon a time, it was Marit Bjørgen to bring them home.
It certainly used to be, but I like this, and I think luckily for Bjørgen, it's Kowalczyk leading the pace here, because for the Norwegians to win this overall, they have to gain, I think, 20 seconds of Moranen on this first leg.
That's a very good point, because Kowalczyk could be setting this up for the Norwegians, couldn't they?
She could be, but just in her self-conditioning, where she never gives in, she never slows down, she's, well, separating the leaders here.
Alena Sidko for the Russians in 4th place. Russians won the Olympic title in 2006, but then, you know, before that, they were so dominant right the way through the 90s. They were totally unbeatable. In the early part of the 90s, it was very much right up to 1997. It was very much the world of Jelena Valber from Magadan. She was one of the major headlines, and Chapalova also very much a relay winner. And it was Germany actually who broke the Russian run in 2002 in Salt Lake City, and they won the world title in 2003. Then Norway got the title in 2005. That was in Oberstdorf on German snow, ironically. And Finland, the most recent winners in Sapporo. And you can see Kowalczyk, good break, but she's taken the Norwegians, she's taken the Finns with her. And sitting back in 4th place, of course, the Russians. And the Swedes, well, that's not a great start by Lena Andersson as they come into the stadium here. It's a 2,500-meter loop, so they go around twice here, which is great for the spectators. They get a really good opportunity, particularly those who are braving the elements out on the hill, to get a feel of this whole course. When you stand up there, Mike, and you're looking back at our commentary boxes, you can actually see the whole of the arena, but you can look over the other side and see the tracks.
It's an unusual layout, and it's just the geography of this hill. You can see the skating track to, well, the spectators to their right, and the classic track to their left. A great vantage point up there. I'm surprised, David, that Lena Andersson, she's trying her best. She's trying to close the gap on the lead 4. It's not working at the moment.
So they're through the 2.5 kilometer point here, and you can see the gap's just beginning to open up there. 7 seconds back to Germany. That's going to give Sackenbacher a bit of a task. Now, she's on the classic leg, and one or two people, Mike, you might, when we see Sackenbacher, although she's better known for her freestyle exploits, might take a close look at her skiing, because there was a discussion point yesterday about her technique not being all that it should.
In the classic style?
Well, that was in the freestyle, so...
yeah, I mean, she does adopt a very... As she plants her feet, there is a wide spread there, rather than getting the legs completely underneath her body weight, which just basically allows a better glide, a more efficient glide.
Yeah, well, let's wait and see when we see her on the second leg. And 4 nations away, and, well, Kowalczyk taking absolutely no prisoners. The Polish quartet is Justyna Kowalczyk. She's going to hand over to her Katowice clubmate, that's Kornelia Marek. In fact, 3 of the women actually members of AZS-AWF Katowice. And Paulina Maszkuzek of Poronin is the anchor lady for the Polish squad. So in a sense, the way they've planned it, Mike, they've got their top star on the opening leg to get him away and give him a bit of a lead. Then they probably expect to lose a bit. Then the up-and-coming star Jaśkovic to get him back into it, and then hopefully Makuszek to hold on and maybe give him a medal.
Well, without a doubt, the coach would have looked at 2 ways of running this. To put your missile Kowalczyk last is an obvious way to run it, but I think this maybe gives the Polish team the best hope. Get them in the race, because if you're out of the race, it's demoralising. Well, just like Italy right now, they're 28 seconds behind. Confortola is demoralised. The body language said it all.
Well, she's demoralised Longa, Valbuza and Follis, who are to follow. And Italy are usually pretty competitive. The last Olympic Games, they were bronze medalists, and also the World Championships in 2005. They slipped a little bit in Sapporo, down to 6th place. But Belmondo, well, I wonder what her assessment will be now. It's a long way back from there. And Kowalczyk just pushing on now. And Muranen, followed there by Sidko and Marit Björgen, worryingly losing touch again. And we've seen her start so many races, Mike, very strongly, but then almost subside.
You know, I think her setback in November, she wasn't well. She lost a lot of what would have been her important quality training at that time. She hasn't been able to stay with the pace that she often sets early on.
Great picture of Muranen.
Very strong. She looks quite similar to, of course, Saarinen, the dynamic kickback. So that's double pole, single leg kick. And that's for flat terrain, gently down terrain.
By contrast,
complete race warrior is Kowalczyk. She just charges on. She doesn't appear to feel the pain, the discomfort.
On the left of your picture there, that's Madoka Natsumi. They came so close in the classic sprint yesterday, Mike. She and Ishida ran such a good race. They had, there's no doubt, Mike, the Japanese skiers had the best skis yesterday in that women's classic sprint. It's just that on the big hills, they just were being overpowered.
They were. There's been a huge amount of talk about the servicemen, and interestingly how Saarinen said that their waxmen are in amazing shape. And well, they do need to have a feel for this. They have to be out preparing, testing, and certainly the Finns are getting it all right. Sidko, this is the best race, in my opinion, the best race of her season in the classic style. She has placed 12th in La Clusa, 10K Classic mass start.
Marit Björgen, just about on side with Sidko, and I mean all the well, goodness gracious, look at Zeller, look at the problem that Zeller's in here, Mike.
Almost walking. Fitness, she's trying. It's all about strength and fitness when you have to break into the herringbone. It's a steep hill though, David. It really, really hurts, especially on such a short intensity. 5 kilometers, 14 minutes of maximum effort.
13 coming through. There was a rumour that Belarus wouldn't start, but in fact, as you can see, they're 50 seconds off the pace. And it's Morano trying to catch with Sidko, trying to catch Kowalczyk, who has really gone strong, and that was always going to be the battle. I think the brilliant thing about Kowalczyk was how in the first 1,000 meters she muscled her way right through the field. And that was as determined a start as we saw from Aino Kaiser Saarinen in the classic sprint.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, I was thinking actually also in the pursuit.
Yeah, determined, focused, and this is for the team. This is not for herself, not for her own, well, her own medals. Of course, it's unlikely the Poles are going to hold this through to gain a medal, and that's what I love about Kowalczyk. She just gives absolutely everything. She's giving her other teammates the best possible chance, setting them up, and she really is destroying this field.
Well, she's won at university level, she's won at junior level, under 23 level, world level, and also, of course, an Olympic bronze medalist in the 30-kilometer free behind Katharina Neumann, the president of the organising committee here. And I don't know what your feeling is, Mike. We're deep into the second week of the championships here. The weather gods haven't been too kind to us in terms of sunbathing and getting a bit of a tan. But overall, I think the organisation here has been pretty good.
Yeah, I was asked that last night, and there's absolutely no failings that I see. Maybe some of the press centres could be a tiny bit bigger, but that's minor. Buses are running on time. The athletes have absolutely equal fair conditions for training, and yeah, it's as good as it gets.
Yeah, I think they have. I mean, I agree. There's been one or two whinges and moans about the odd transport thing, but I tell you, the people have been pleasant. Security has not been officious, and everything certainly that we've needed has been provided for us. So well done to the Czech organisers for this. Although the word is there may be a bit of a deficit financially. They're saying something like 7 to 9 million euros. Not sure whether that's the fact, but it is the biggest sports event ever to be held in the Czech Republic. It's changeover time, second leg, and away goes Cornelia Marek for Poland. On the second leg, Věra Koivunen in the office again. I thought her race yesterday was the best I've seen from her at these championships. Norway now represented by the dynamic little Teresa Johaug, and for Sweden it's going to be Britta Norgren taking over. For Russia it's Olga Orocheva, who was of course given a decent start there by Elena Sidko.
Norway 13 seconds, and Johaug, she's got this incredible tempo, but I'll tell you what, she's gone up that first hill like a rocket. Muranen, she's caught the pole already.
Well, it's not Muranen, it's Koivunen who's caught, as you said, Marek. That was always going to be the case, but the interesting thing now is Koivunen going to do a Saarinen, and are the Finns following what seems to be not a race plan but a championship plan, which is to actually be extremely aggressive right from the get-go?
I think so, and the damage that's been created back to Italy, down in 10th place, 1 minute 6. It's going to be really hard for the Italians now to regain the confidence to try and get onto the podium.
So there it is. Great job by Kowalczyk, who can now relax. I think that was a good pipe opener for her, or not pipe opener so much because she is the 10-kilometer classic champion, but a good piece of prep for the 30-kilometer free, because tomorrow, Friday, will be an easy day before the Saturday marathon.
Absolutely. Intensities like this, even though it's 14:06 there for Kowalczyk, need to rest up.
There's Marek going through in second place, and I'm sure this is going to lift all the Polish fans, and there are plenty of them around. And in third place for Russia, Olga Orocheva, and then trying to chase them down is Teresa Johaug. So big gaps early on, and 15 in picture. Cornelia Marek with quite a lot of responsibility on her shoulders. And look at the high tempo of Johaug. How many times have we said that it's maybe not textbook, and plenty of coaches have tried to say to her, look, you're not using your energy in the most efficient manner, and she just turns around and says, this is the way I do it, and it works.
It is working. She needs to try and get the contact with Koivunen. There's Koivunen up the front now. Russia just ahead of Norway.
And of course, Johaug herself, a 30-kilometer bronze medalist from Sapporo in the freestyle World Championship of 2 years ago. Koivunen at work. What do you think? Talk about her style, Mike.
This is her unique aspect. She's got the long reach. She's breaking into the double pole, single leg kick, so you're putting all your weight on one side to get as an explosive a kick as possible, and now into the classical stride. I love the way she, especially left knee, she just reaches as far forward as possible, taking in as much distance as possible, and the whole flow is efficient and dynamic.
Marek about to be taken by Johaug, who's gone straight past Rotshaver. And look at the difference in stature and build between Rotshaver there, very heavy and powerful muscle, and Johaug, who's got this better, power to weight ratio, and she's just gone zooming past, and Norway are up from 4th to 2nd. Rotshaver is going to take 3rd place away from Marek, but you had a theory early on in these championships that the Russians, who are physically much stronger, that these courses actually aren't really helping them.
Well, when you've got this, this is another 1 minute 20 climb from the bottom, 1 minute 40 actually from the bottom to the top, and body weight, it does play its part, especially on these long climbs, which play a large part in this 2.5.
And you look at the difference between Koitunen there and Rotshaver. Koitunen, beautifully balanced, really light and springy, and Rotshaver just that little bit heavier.
Yeah, and waxing, slipping there for the Russian, continually slipping. That puts tension through your body.
Now, we talked about Sackenbacher. Here she is, Mike. We can't see head to toe yet, but when we can, you might just... Tell me what you think about her ski technique.
Well, the fact that poor of course, Sackenbacher, she's slipping there, and that puts the frustration through.
That's Ishida. You just saw momentarily. Here she is, Masako Ishida. And Mashako is her nickname. I think they're great, those two Japanese women, and I still feel sorry that they didn't nick a bronze yesterday, because it would have done not only them a power of good, but I think it would have been great for the sport worldwide if they'd managed to go home, but it's not to be. Chris Freeman, I felt sorry for, finishing 4th, on the opening weekend. It's just that horrible position, isn't it?
It is
so near, yet not a medal.
At the World Championships, here's the Italian making ground. Of course, it's Mariana Longa, and she is making ground.
Yeah, well, as Stefania Belmondo said, of course, we do have two very strong runners in Longa and, of course, Follis. But second leg, not yet at the halfway point here. And the situation at 3.95 kilometers is Poland were leading, and now Finland, of course, leading from Norway, Poland, Russia. 10 seconds separating the top 4. Germany 19 seconds back, along with Sweden, Japan just losing a bit of time, and the USA, where they had Keegan Randall on the opening leg, which was a little bit like putting Kowalczyk on the opening leg for Poland, but the Americans, Aritola, Stephen and Compton, it's actually, to be fair, it's not a quartet which is get ready to challenge.
No, it's Marek is trying hard. I was wondering there where Therese Johaug was, but she was hiding there behind the coach. She's got it down to 6 seconds, David. That's put a lot of energy out. She's pulled, 7 seconds back already, and that's got to be hurting Johaug.
Czech Republic, host nation, sadly, at the moment at the back of the pack, and as I said right at the beginning, they could do with Katarina Neumanova at this moment. She helped them in the Olympic Games to move into 6th place. They were also 6th in the 2005 championships in Oberstdorf. But in the development of the new women's division of Czech cross-country skiers, these championships have come up a little bit early for them. So Virpi Koitunen from Hollola, and doing a great job here and pulling it out. Therese Johaug doing everything she possibly can.
A little worrying now for the Norwegian coaches. Therese had it down to 6 seconds. She's dropped back to 13.5, exactly where she was handed over to.
Well, she had to use a lot of energy coming out of the stadium, Mike, and maybe she's got one more attack in her. But the other thing is that also that Virpi Koitunen is actually turning up the pace as well, because from here on in she's going to make it extremely hard over the next couple of thousand meters. Well, here you can see on our Formula One gap graphic, not quite going at that pace there, but Virpi Koitunen now really, Mike, trying to kill this race off, and frankly give Riitta-Liisa Ropponen and Aino-Kaisa Saarinen a stroll in the afternoon.
Yeah, well, it's never a stroll at a World Champs, but this lead is it's very beneficial psychologically. Good to see the speed there down the backside of the big climb. It was 40 kilometers an hour. Quite a speed there on the, well, the shoes, which don't give you as much support as the skating. And these corners are tricky in these very flimsy shoes.
Teresa Johaug would much rather be in a chasing pack, and it's just a little disappointing that she's losing contact sight as Virpi Koittinen goes round one or two twists and turns. And there's is that Rosheva?
That's Rosheva.
Yeah. And that's a pretty good run. Is that still Marek? It is Marek, isn't it, of Poland, who's actually gone with her. And that's a really good effort by her. And remember, if she can just keep this going, she's going to hand it over to Sylvia Jaśkovic, who is, we know, in very good form.
Well done to Marek. She's definitely got a good glide on the base of her skis, Marek, and that's helped her stay in with you'd expect, the faster skier, Rocheva. And look at the Norwegian, Johaug. Tempo, and she's not huge in stature. Well, there's the distance.
And there you can see Virpi on the climb. Just wondering, Mike, as Virpi gets ever closer to handing over to the first of her freestyle companions, just thinking back over the last, I don't know, what should we say, 10 years and a bit. Great skiers in the women's division. Well, you'd have to put Bente Martinsson, Bente Skori, as she was, Katarina Neumanova, obviously, Jelena Valby of Russia, Marta Matikainen, who is certainly one of my favourites, the star of the 1989 World Championships in Lahti. And then you can go back, can't you? Harry Curvers and Amy's wife.
Well, that's right. I'm thinking way back to 1984 and 88 and 92 with Marilisa Hämäläinen. She was very tall, very, very powerful. And
can you make a comparison, between Virpi today as a leader and as back to those races?
I think so. I think Koittinen, in terms of efficiency and movement on ski, she's got the most smooth, beautiful technique, which doesn't waste in any way, no energy waste. I think that Rocheva, I'm quite sure she was being ill earlier as she was skiing, and there she is. She's been taken by Japan now, by Sweden, by Poland still ahead. She is slipping madly, but I think she was being sick on her skis there, actually, about 1 kilometer back.
And every second, they are really struggling out there on that hill.
That's such a, again, we can't quite see or sense how steep this is, but it hurts when you get these best of athletes almost walking.
Well, look at Mariana Longa, and she's right up there. She's in tip-top condition already, a silver medal from the 10-kilometer classic. And Italy a minute back in 8th place, and that puts them, Japan, into 3rd place. Now, well, can I seriously think that it could happen today when it should have happened yesterday? No, I really can't, because I think that Sweden now, with Anna Hög on the 3rd leg and Charlotte Kaller, freestylers, I think they should make their presence felt pretty strongly. The Swedes, well, the Swedes haven't been winning medals in recent times. They were 4th in the last World Championships, 4th in the Olympic Games, 8th back in 2005, 6th in 2003. And just looking at the performance chart, I'm just trying to see. Sweden last got onto the relay medal podium in the Worlds, 1995 in Thunder Bay in Canada, when you were still in your teens, weren't you, Mike?
I wish. When I was a boy. I'm just wondering what's happening here at Norway. Johaug got it back to 6 seconds. And tantalizingly close, and then all of a sudden Koittinen has just put on the turbos, and she's separated now by 20 seconds. Depressing for Johaug.
Yeah, but great racer, the reigning World Cup champion of the last 2 seasons, a defending champion, of course, coming around now to start the finish attack in freestyle skate form, and it's Riitta-Liisa Ropponen who's on her way now for the 3rd of the 4th legs here. The Finns were very much the favourites, and Norway, it's going to be Christine Steyr who will take over, silver medalist, and a brilliant silver medal it was in the pursuit race behind Saarinen. And then in third place, well, I think the partnership, or the two openers, Madoka Natsumi and Masako Ishida, you couldn't have asked for more from them, from the Japanese duo. They are classic specialists, but now they hand over to Michito Kashiwabara, who will ski the third leg, and Nobuko Fukuda is the anchor for Japan. I think this third leg is the crucial one, because Kashiwabara taking over from Sumiko Yokoyama, who used to ski the freestyle leg, and she was pretty good, so her replacements got a lot to live up to here.
Well, Rochev, I've never seen such a fatigue in such a short race. She was up there with the best. She had closed down in Koitinen, but she is completely unwell on her skis. The Russian just handing over now.
So just confirmation, Finland with a good 30-second break on Norway, Japan in the bronze medal position, and they've left the stadium, Mike, with a 21-second advantage over Sweden. And Sweden, it's Anna Hög who's skiing this third leg for the Swedes. And then Poland in fifth place, Sylvia Jaśkiewicz, 1 minute and 6 seconds. I'm fascinated to see what she can do over 5 kilometers here. Can she get the Poles back into a medal position? And Sackenbacher, who really suffered for Germany, they're now 1 minute and 11 off the pace. And for Germany, it's your biathlete, Mike, Miriam Gössner, who we'll catch up with when we come back.
Gössner, I've got her results.
Well, here we are, Finland out front here, Riitta-Liisa Ropponen, one of their main freestyle charges. And of course, she was a world champion with Virpi Koitinen 2 years ago in the two-woman sprint when it was in freestyle in Sapporo. And freestyle racing is what it's all about for Riitta-Liisa. Used to be Riitta-Liisa Lassila until she got married. And again, she's a Finnish racer. It used to happen with Saarinen, that the likes of Ropponen very much in the shadow of Virpi Koitinen. But now the whole Finnish team really getting appreciated individually as well as collectively.
I think she's going to be caught, David, by of course, Steyr. Steyr went out of the stadium like no other. It was as if it were a sprint race. She's pulled back 10 seconds already. But has she gone out too hard? Ropponen also went out. Clearly, you have to go out of the stadium fast, out the big climb. It's quite easy profile for the next kilometre once you leave the stadium.
Yeah, even though she catches, if she catches her, then it becomes interesting. But she's not only going to catch her, she's got to get ahead of her, and she's got to go away. And the reason for that is that they've got Saarinen, 2 golds and a bronze medal already at these championships, taking on Marta Kristoffersen of Norway, who's terrific. She's a junior. She's doing really well. Kristoffersen deserves her place here. But in terms of experience and everything else, you put your money on Saarinen in that situation.
And the Saarinen, as you say, 2 golds, a bronze. She's in the best form of her life, and that's almost untouchable. But look at this. Well done to Steyr. That's a huge amount of time in just 1.75 kilometre. And she's had to go hard. She had no option. She has to try and pull back time for the Norwegians.
Yeah, Saarinen yesterday, she said that after the qualification, they knew they had to be strong. We had a power, we had the power to attack early, and it really worked. And we were a bit surprised that nobody tried to chase me when I was attacking. I expected that somebody would follow, and we discussed the tactics after the qualification and decided that it would be the right thing to go away early. And during the handover, we said to each other, go for it. And in the last one, I said to Virpi, enjoy. because she had so much of a margin.
I did see her lead, she shout something. I thought, I wonder what she's saying. I thought she might be saying, you've got an easy lead, just tick it over.
Well, now you know. She said enjoy, and it could well be that Aino Kaiser Saarinen will have a similar final 500 metres here.
Now there's a good fight developing here, David, from fourth back. It's packing there, and the young, the 19-year-old Gosner, the biathlete, she's used to stopping during her races to shoot. And at the Junior World Championships, 2 fourth, 1 third, 1 silver, and a gold, as good as you get. And that was with poor shooting. So her strength, Gosner, third leg for Germany, is her ski speed.
And interesting that Japan still very much amongst this now. You look at this, the Germans actually have caught up with Japan, and could be Poland as well, also beginning to close. Sweden at the moment, disappointing I have to say, not really making the sort of impression that I expected.
Well, Steyr has well and truly got Ropinen in her sights. They're both in the stadium. There's Ropinen at the front.
Yeah, but it's still advantage Finland by some way. And get an answer. Now, that's in distance, Mike, as near as damn it, 100 metres.
It's closing in, and well, 12 seconds. And our last split time, it was 17. So all the time, and this is, I think, where Steyr will pull back more time. The glasses are now off. She means business. 2.5 kilometres to go. She'll take the time, most of the time, off on these steep climbs.
And coming round into her last 2.5 kilometres, and this is a really good run. And we haven't seen much of Michito Kashiwabara, and I was making the point, Mike, that, you know, she'd have to go some to match the performances of Sumiko Yokoyama, and it was the Yokoyama girls, amongst others, who really were very much an inspiration for women's cross-country skiing in Japan. And you sense, Mike, that it's beginning to happen. It's not the biggest squad in the world, but, you know, there's definite, you could just see that for next year in the Olympic Games, not going to say they're going to overpower Finland, but they might be a lot closer to a medal.
Little by little, and it was based on the sprinting. They thought, well, we can close the gaps in the sprinting, and slowly it's given the confidence to, well, now in third place in a 4x5 relay.
That's a bronze medal place, and they've got Fukuda on the anchor leg. It's she's done a really good job, the third leg runner for Japan so far, but she's only halfway through her workload, and back up the front here, Ropinen. The angle is a little foreshortening, but you're absolutely right, Mike. It's Steyr, higher tempo, and getting actually a little bit more distance on the skates.
Yeah, she is efficient. Ropinen, there's a lot of tension in her body, and when you're given that lead and you're losing it, you feel fear. You feel absolute fear that you're letting your team down. It's easier chasing than being chased.
You sense that the words that are in Steyr's head are, you know, gotcha. Well, she hasn't quite gotcha. It's still a decent gap. That's still, what, 70 metres.
Great credit to Ropinen. She's hurt from the word go. She's kept it fast. Italy still worrying me big time. They're in 7th position, 53 seconds behind.
Well, I think Antonella Confitola's misfortune early on really settled it for them. You just can't come back, and it wasn't just the fact that she fell and the time loss. It looked certainly as if she was disturbed. Whether she was hurt, we don't know. And here goes Steyr, big attack now, and she needs to go straight past Ropinen. She can't actually hang on here now, because she needs to give advantage to Marta Kristoffersen. So she's actually got to die for this, Steyr.
She has to die for it. She's that's 33 seconds in her pocket. She's pulled back. Maybe she'll take a little recovery here, David, just obviously on the technical turn. It won't be long, surely, before she makes the passing move.
Ropinen trying, like every Formula One driver, to close the door. Did that quite effectively on Steyr in that little section now.
Steyr has to try very soon to break this and try and pull back 8, maybe 10 seconds if that's possible.
And you could just see with Steyr's breathing there, Mike, she was just trying to gather herself for the final push.
It's up this big climb, and not much distance left after that, back into the stadium. But Steyr, she's going to go for this 8 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. Ropinen, how strong is her mind?
Having a look also for the battle for third place. concentrating up front here. Steyer's taken the momentum and has gone up, and now needs to push. She needs to push right the way to the top and over the top, and then it'll be interesting to see what the glide is on their respective skis.
Now that was a little, I wonder if she's being, it's very irritating when you're leading and your ski poles are being clipped. That was happening there, so Steyr shouted something. It would be in English.
And Japan being caught behind there, and you can see now that up into bronze medal position it is Germany, and Miriam Gössner, the biathlete from Garmisch-Partenkirchen minus gun, has moved up into bronze medal position. And look at young Sylwia Jaśkowiec of Poland, under 23 5-kilometer champion of the world and also pursuit champion this season in the under-23 worlds, right on her tails, and not giving away, going with her, using the German biathlete as a target. And look, that's Kowalczyk style, isn't it? To attack on the hill, came round. That was almost like she'd been watching the videos.
She's learning, and that's the thing when you've got a goddess like Kowalczyk in your team that you can live with, learn from.
Tell me about Gössner, Mike.
Gössner, when I was commentating on the races there at the Junior Worlds, and she reminds me of Magdalena Neuner, the outstanding biathlete who came to light at 19 years of age at the World Champs. She's just got incredible ski speed. Not that great on the shooting range yet for Gössner, but she makes it up on the track.
And Kashiwabara of Japan, after skiing a very good 2.5 kilometers, is actually really suffering now. She looks as if she's almost out of energy. She's been caught by the Swede at the moment, and that is Anna Hogg, who's closing up to her. But Steyr is away. So here we go, the final exchange, and Kristin Steyr, when she came through the stadium last time, she was 100 meters behind Rita-Lisa Ropponen. She's now 50 meters ahead. So that is the measure of the damage. She hands over to young Marta Kristoffersen in her teens. Marta is away, and her task, heaven help her, because she's going to need all the help she can, is to stay ahead of the queen of the women's cross-country skiing here, and that is Aino Kaisa Saarinen. And going away for Poland, wearing 15, it's Paulina Makuzek, and she's got right on her tail the very experienced Claudia Neustadt of Germany. And you'd have to say that the German has got a real chance of pushing up, I think, here into certainly bronze. And you never know with Claudia Neustadt. She's a very, very able athlete with a good turn of foot if it comes down to a sprint at the end.
Absolutely. I'm so impressed with Poland and Germany on that third leg. Outstanding by the two young performers.
And Nobuko Fukuda of Japan, her task, she's 38 seconds back in 5th place. That puts her at the moment 23 seconds off the bronze medal. So it's a tall task, and odds against rather than odds on. But as you see, the change over there for Finland, some of the teams further back there. Sweden 39.5 seconds off in 6th place. Italy 59 seconds back. France, we haven't really mentioned Bourgeois-Pain. Laurent Philippot did the classic legs. Coraline Hugues has just finished the first of the freestyle legs, and now it's Celia Bourgeois on the anchor leg. Russia, well, what a disaster. Sidko Rotcheva was the real disaster for them on the second leg. Chapalova couldn't make up any of the lost time, and Medvedeva now is on the final 5,000 meters. But Russia down in 9th place, not having the greatest of championships. The United States just behind them. And how could you imagine there'd be just 9 seconds between Russia and the United States, Mike?
Well, the Russian team, they haven't had a good World Championships at all, men or women. Of course, Morozov taking the bronze medal, that was good, and Legkov nearly getting a bronze, silver as well.
A year before the Olympics, you'd be worried if you were the commandant of the Russian women's and men's division, wouldn't you?
You would be worried because they have tried. They've tried to get their peaking, their top performances here, and it just hasn't happened. Sometimes if you over-fry it, over-push it, you come into majors more fatigued than you had hoped for, and maybe that has been the case this time.
You know, and they've also, you know, when you look at the reservoir of talent, they've got about 1 million to choose from right across their giant country, but then they go and lose one or two, like Babikov, of course, who transferred from Russia to Canada, and although he's yet to prove that transfer, he may well do so come next year in the Olympics.
I think he probably will. He's got he lives in Canmore, he's got it all ahead of him, and another year to build up. Kristoffersson, 19 years of age, is a huge amount of pressure, and especially when it's Saarinen chasing you. Not good. Medvedeva, one of the most experienced in this field, is all going wrong for the Russians.
Yeah, that's pressure.
It is. It's just trying to pull time back and extreme tension.
And look at Saarinen, absolutely measured.
Just so strong mentally as well as physically, and the confidence with all her medals so far. But she says she's not going to have the easiest of ride. There's Nystad. Looking smooth. She's also very strong.
Saarinen, 30 years of age, and of course could be on her way to a third gold medal, which would give her individual top spot ahead of Todd Lodwick. The Americans, if you were with us earlier on, you'll have seen, but if you weren't, let me bring you up to date. An extraordinary, awful experience for the American team, and in particular Bill DeMong, just a medalist himself here over the past days, the bronze medalist behind teammate Todd Lodwick, who this morning went up to open up the American Challenge in the team event and couldn't find his bib. Looked everywhere. As far as we know, he tucked it inside his suit and hadn't realized. That's as we understand it, but anyway, didn't find it in time. He didn't turn up on time, so he was disqualified. And instead of the Americans being able to count on the points from 4 men, were left counting just 3. And the word is that they're so far back that they've decided not even to start the cross-country phase of the team event, which is real disappointment, because they would have had the best chance ever. Now, whilst we were away there, Saarinen has, I suppose, Mike, rather predictably taken it from Kristoffersson, and Kristoffersson now needs to actually not panic. She needs help from her coaches to probably hold on to the silver.
She does, she absolutely does. Coming up into the stadium, and well, you could just see how rutted, how deep with this wet conditions the snow has become, and we did see Medvedeva falling. I'm very surprised that Kristoffersson didn't manage to hold on at least for 100 metres, but that just shows the strength of Saarinen right now.
Again, Mike, here's an opportunity to give a critique. Oh, well, when we come back again, we will. And this is Claudia Nystad, originally from Oberwiesenthal. And, Olympic and world medalist at the sprints individually. And that's her vista of the 2 ahead of her. And again, when you look at that, Mike, that's 120 metres. May not seem impossible to Nystad.
Well, it's all ahead of them. There's 2.5 kilometres left. Nystad, she hasn't managed to pull much time back on this leg. Kristoffersson, look at her, she's exhausted, but she knows that she has to get within, well, 5 metres of Saarinen. She needs to try and keep contact.
Yeah, it is 120 metres between Nystad and Kristoffersson. The difference between the silver and the bronze medal. And coming around, also skiing pretty well now, Charlotte Kalla on the anchor leg for Sweden and making a difference. She's now got Nystad in her sights for the bronze medal. So the 4th changeover was what? Just need to... when they came through last time at the end of the 3rd leg, Sweden were... what, 39 seconds, the difference between them and Germany was in fact, what, 23 seconds, and now
it's 12 seconds, so Kalla is making in fact, Kalla is having the fastest ski leg out there completely. But look at Follis, 56 seconds behind. She's tried to close it.
Well, that would be nothing short of sensational if she could get the Italians up into a medal. But I think you're right, actually. Follis and Calla are clearly the two fastest skiers on the track at the moment.
They are, and Calla, she's got 12 seconds. She'll get that information, and does she want a medal here? She really, really does. And that 12-second gap to Nystad.
And you can see 1,800 metres to go, and 6 seconds. Doesn't seem a lot, but it seems a lot to Marta Kristoffersen, who just can't get back at Saarinen. Saarinen's got the bit between her teeth. I don't think it's the same as yesterday when she said to Verpi, enjoy. She's actually got to see this one out.
I've never seen such a change in an athlete. Saarinen this year compared to last year, she's got incredible strength to double dance her way up this hill.
But look at the way that Nystad is doubling out, and she senses, you know, that maybe that silver is possible, and Calla believes that maybe a bronze is within her grasp.
Look at the momentum, I think, from them all, except for Saarinen. Calla, Charlotte here, she's got the momentum, the energy, the drive, and maybe the belief.
Crucial part of the course now, kilometre or so to go now for the leader. And you could just see there on that turn, Mike, even Saarinen's legs just suggested that, you know, she's beginning to really feel the effects, because although you're skiing 5 kilometres, the difference is you're absolutely flat out.
What I don't get about it, remember yesterday the intensity that Saarinen put into the 6 times 1.3 kilometres at absolute flat out intensity. Also, she's done so well in the double pursuit and
that's what I was going to say.
The individual sprint.
Where does it, you know, where and if and when does it start to catch up on her? Because she won the gold in the 10 Classic, then you get the bronze in the pursuit, then she gets the gold in the Classic sprint. Now she's in this, and then she's got tomorrow to recover for the 33, because she can certainly do that distance. She won the great Oslo race over that distance a couple of years ago.
Nah, she's on outstanding form, but she has been this strong since the end of November. The first World Cup's up in northern Sweden, up in Gällivare.
And it's fair to say there are very, very few athletes who can stay on top in this way right the way through this sort of season. As you're saying, end of November, so the whole of December, January, February, and she's got to go right through to March if she wants to get that World Cup title as well.
It's incredible form. Can Kristoffersen here, can she hang on in there? But Nystad knows that the Norwegian ahead of her suffering badly.
And the German coaches, Jochen Beller, won't be far away yelling as well, because he could do with a bit of a success. He got Teichmann and Angerer with a medal in the sprint yesterday.
And that was good for the German team. They needed that, and maybe that's enough to, well, certainly here at the moment, it's bronze medal for Germany, running out of time to pull that back to a silver.
And here's Charlotte Calla, who's looks as if she's tantalizingly set for 4th place. Actually, it was Lena Andersson and Britta Norgren on the first and second legs who just let too much time go. And Finland, there you can see up this really the last bit of punishment. And Kristoffersen, look at Calla though. Calla beginning to accelerate. She uses the climbs like Björgen used to use them.
Look at Calla, look at that. I think it's bronze coming up for Sweden very soon.
Maria Nystad may have the finishing pace in the straight, but Calla, look at this. She's absolutely doubling the tempo over Nystad. I want it, and she's going to get there. You know, she's almost there. She wants to get there before the top of the rise if she can.
You know, she might even think that the silver medal's possible right the way up to Norway. Running out of space, though.
The trouble is with Nystad, you just don't know how much when they get down onto that flatter section and that right-hander before the right-hander into the straight. If Nystad can get a bit of recovery into herself, then that sprinting ability is still dangerous for Calla. But Norway in silver, Germany and Sweden vying for the bronze medal. And so, as I said, it's now, 14 years, 1995, since Sweden got a bronze medal, got any medal in the World Championships in the women's relay. Calla will know that.
This corner's tricky, it's lumpy, it's rutted, they need to be careful.
Yeah, they've both done it well, actually. And meanwhile, up front, there's the difference, and it is Aino Karlsson Saarinen. Calla's got another great attack. Terrific piece of timing there from Calla, and she's after Kristoffersen. She really is after Kristoffersen. She believes that even the silver could be possible. Nystad can't raise her game. You can see Nystad trying to sprint, Mike, and in fact Kalle, great move, cut to the inside, and Kristoffersen's running out here, and this could be one of the great gains here for Sweden. Not a bronze. A gold goes to Aina-Kaisa Saarinen, along with Ropponen and Verpi Koitinen and Pierre Jumanin, and they've taken the gold. Who gets the silver? On the right-hand side, it is Charlotte Kalle. On the left, it's Claudia Nystad. Marta Kristoffersen for Norway is left or dead. The sprinting speed of Nystad has got her there on the flats just to come back at Kalle. Kalle's got a bronze. The Swedes are delighted and the Norwegians are gutted.
Absolutely gutted, but Kristoffersen, she could do no more. She's disappointed across the line, and just really that last 100 meters, Nystad, that was intelligent racing.
That is great team camaraderie. All the Norwegians round to tell Marta, don't worry, you did a great job. She's in bits, she's in tears, she thinks that she's let them down. Here comes Arianna Follis, but he can't win every day, but she of course is the individual sprint champion. Italy's chances away. That's Marit Bjørgen, Teresa Johaug, Kristin Styren looking after Marta. Meanwhile, all the rejoicing, Sweden, Lena Andersson, Britta Norgren, Anna Haag. Boy, do they owe Charlotte Kalle a big drink, because she got them the medal.
She did. She worked so hard. She had one purpose, one focus, and that was to catch, well, firstly Germany, and in the process, of course, Kristoffersen ran out of steam.
And all credit, you could see the experience. I did say, Mike, Nystad, when she got on the flats, that's where she's dangerous. Olympic medalist, world medalist at sprints. And Nystad, Gustner, the biathlete, has now got a world championship medal. And Sackenbacher, who's not really looked herself at these championships, she's also a silver medalist, along with Katrin Zeller. So Oberstdorf, right in Winkel, Garmisch-Partenkirchen and Oberwiesenthal all enjoying and participating in that effort. And Sweden, well, Pitio, Sollefteå, Mora and Terendo. And she gave absolutely, there will be, and I'm sure they're telling her that, Mike, it's sort of, you're only 19, there will be sunshine days.
Yeah, and as you say, they're all supporting her disappointment at the moment, but they're there for her, and it's good to see that team gelling, the teamwork.
What a contrast compared to Legkov, when he had that unfortunate fall and he was left in bits on his own and nobody went near him.
He just had to think that one through, and hopefully Legkov can put that right in the 50 kilometer and possibly in the relay tomorrow.
Well, there you are. That's Germany.
So Gustner, she's got 3 medals from the Junior World Championships in biathlon and now a silver medal in the Senior World Championships in cross-country skiing.
So a vindicated move to bring her into the cross-country worlds.
And they brought her in mainly for the sprint racing, but they saw that she was so powerful in terms of the best in skating that they included her today.
Mike, whilst that was going on, we need to reflect on one or two others that have come home. Italy, who pulled themselves up into 5th place again. Great effort from Arianna Follis. It's respectability, but it's not a medal. And the Polish quartet of Kowalczyk, Marek, Jaśkiewicz and Makuszek finishing a very respectable 6th, 1 minute and 12 seconds behind Finland, with then Japan just 4 seconds behind them in 7th place, ahead of Russia. What a nightmare. The French, Belarus, Kazakhstan, the Ukraine, the Czech Republic just ahead of the USA and Estonia. Well, just in front of the window, you've spotted something. Is that Peter Northug?
It's of course it's Kristoffersen. She's just getting some medical attention there, I think, David. So she's clearly so disappointed, but not feeling very good out there as the results are just coming up. Japan down to 7th in the end.
Well, an exciting relay, Mike, and what a finish indeed with Charlotte Kalle almost snatching the silver medal there for Sweden.
Yeah, right down to the line, and it was that sprint power from Nystad who kept the Germans in the silver medal. 2 silvers now for the Germans. It's looking better towards the end of the championships for them.
But I tell you what, that finish by Charlotte Kalla, that'll boost the Swedish spirits. Of course, they had that silver medal from Anders Södergren earlier on in the week in the 15 pursuit. And, of course, you think he's going to be a main player when it comes to the marathon. But this is it. Look at Marta Kristoffersson, runs out of gas, totally empty. Nystad on the far side. Closest to in white is Charlotte Kalla. Oxygen debt. Well, you don't know what these 2 young women are going through. And at the end of the day, it looks like Kalla, doesn't it, from that picture? But Nystad, she knows how to finish off one of these sprints. And she just manages to time the lunge with her skis. It's the boot that it's measured on. And in fact, that picture not really telling the story, but as we go around here, it's Nystad on the left and gets that right foot forward, just a fraction of a whisker ahead of Kalla.
And only 16 seconds separating the top 4 teams there. And of course, Kristoffersson so disappointed that in the last 10 meters, she just could not keep that momentum to the line.
Well, so much more to come. Of course, there were 20 medals available here, gold medals, that is, and we've still got some competitions, plenty of competitions, in fact, to bring you. We've got 1 more gold medal up for grabs today, and that, of course, will be the finale of the Nordic combined team event, which is just about an hour and 15 minutes away. There it is, 3:15 Central European time. Be with us if you can 5 minutes before that for the start of that. Then the ski jumping, it's qualifying day for the big boys on the big hill. That's at 5 o'clock Central European time. And then we go to tomorrow, the men's 4x10 kilometers. That's 1 o'clock. Join us for lunch as we see the best men in the world in their relay. A little later, it's Simon Amann and Mawish and Morgenstern and Schlierenzauer on the big hill. We go to Saturday and Liberec. It's the team event in the afternoon with the Nordic combined, and then the women's 30-kilometer race. Will Aina Kaiser Saarinen go for another medal in that and gain a 4th gold medal? The team event, as I mentioned, on Saturday, that's in the afternoon. And then finally, after a little rest and celebration, Sunday morning we wake up and join us again for lunch at 1:30. And the men's 50-kilometer freestyle, the blue ribbon, to wrap it all up. The 20th gold medal of these championships to be decided at about 3:30, 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Pretty well time for us to take our leave. Mike Dixon and myself will be back with you in about an hour's time for the finale of the Nordic Combined. Here are the winners with Sandra.
To give us a short statement. Pirjo Muranen, how was your race?
It was great. I think it went that way what I was thinking.
And your tactic?
It was what I made, so I think it's good to have a little bit gap from Norway, and I succeed a little bit that. No, it was a good position to Virpi to start.
Thank you. And you, Virpi, what was your plan?
It's always difficult to make a plan when you are in the second leg, because you don't know how the first is going. But as Pirjo said, we were planning to have a small gap for other big nations, and we were hoping for a little help for Justina, and she gave it. And for me, it was just to try to make the gap bigger, and I made a good job, I think.
Thank you very much. And Rita-Liisa, your comment about your race?
Because this is relay, so we take a goals. It was enough.
Thank you very much. And you, Aina Kaiser, it's your next gold medal.
Yeah, this is a great feeling to get the everyday goal, so what can I wish anymore?
And for Saturday?
We'll see, but I will be fighting very hard.
Enjoy your day together and celebrate in a good way. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
4 very happy women, and of course Aina Kaiser Saarinen, 3 golds and a bronze medal, and an opportunity to go for a 4th gold with the 30-kilometer free. And it's a monumental effort, Mike.
It is, and the team strategy there, it maybe on paper we might have thought they would have had a more clear-cut race, but it wasn't easy for the Finnish quartet, and it was work all the way. Saarinen, amazing strength though.
Well, this is the way they got away, and it was indeed Perju Maranen first up the hill. And the Swedes, after a slowish start, making heavy weather it until, of course, they could rely on Charlotte Kalla on the final leg. An absolute dynamite run, and probably when we look at the statistics, Mike, she was the fastest on that fourth and final leg.
The young Gerstner, third leg for the Germans. She really played a huge part in this as well, and she can walk away from here with pride, silver medal.
But this was the Finnish Claudia Nystad bringing all that experience to bear ultimately. But this is the woman who they all fear on Saturday, Justyna Kowalczyk, taking Poland from 15th to 1st within the first 1,000 meters. But the Finnish women, they won the world title in 2007, and they defended it. Kristin Styrer, little moment there when she was closing up to give Norway a chance, but at the end of it, well, another gold medal for Aino-Kaisa Saarinen and her Finnish mates. Well, the podium just being readied here. So Germany, Finland and Sweden. Three very happy quartets. Just as much as the Swedes owed their medal to Charlotte Kalla, I think we can safely say that the Germans really owe their medal to the freestylers, Gerstner and Nystad.
They did. Well, I mean, you all play your part, and as long as they were in contact, it was always a possibility. And that's the thing with a relay. It unfolds in front of you. You can predict certain things, but so often it never, ever works out the way that the coach predicts or anyone else predicts. And as long as you're in contact, the final two skaters can pull some time back, and that's exactly what happened for Sweden and Germany.
Well, the first time they've been on the podium, the Swedish women, since 1995 in Thunder Bay. And the woman in the front row there, Charlotte Kalla amongst them. Evi Sakenbach is smiling, but I still think that, with no disrespect to her, at this moment she's not the strongest link in that squad.
She's not. We've seen that all season. And maybe now, the final part of the World Cup season after the World Championships, we might see, well, this three out of this quartet. Of course, Gerstner will go back to her biathlon. We might see them improving on the world stage.
I think the fascination is going to be whether Aino-Kaisa Saarinen can also wrap up the World Cup. You know, having led the World Cup right the way through the season, missed out on the Tour de Ski to Virpi. That's about possibly the only thing she might miss out on.
That is true, but the form of Saarinen there at the front left for the Finnish team, I can't think when we've last seen an athlete on such good form. 3 golds, 1 bronze, 1 race to go.
Well, everybody, including ourselves, will be checking the record books for 4 gold medals. It's sort of Jelena Valby territory, isn't it?
You just feel it is Valby territory. Yeah. You just feel that Saarinen, just with the interviews, the confidence, she believes in herself. She knows that if Kowalczyk goes or if Kalla goes, she's going to hang on in there.
And Ivana Trump, who's come in today to enjoy the World Championships. And just on the far side there, Katarina Neumanova, the president of the organising committee. And a little glamour comes to Liberec. Just wonder if they all know Ivana.
I wonder. They will.
Well, they all read hello and chat, don't they?
They will. I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure they will. Maybe they'll even have a little drink with her after this after this ceremony.
Katarina Neumanova's made a big difference to the organising committee since she came. I guess a lot of people would have liked to have seen her on skis, but I think you know, her contribution should not be underestimated, to the way that she's pulled it all together and put some spirit into it, as you would put into a you know, competitive team. So I think that's something that she should be very proud of.
I think so, and you know, with Neumann racing for her country over so many years, 15 years, you learn that team spirit and the giving, and when the leader gives, the rest follow.
Well, that's just about it now. We've got about an hour to go to the Nordic combined.
Saarinen again, it's almost as if it's become a routine, but she keeps pushing, she keeps, I think, even finding new form, new levels that maybe she didn't know she ever had. Quite amazing. But certainly now it's about rest and recovery, leading into Saturday's 30-kilometre. Food and drink absolutely necessary. Well, it's time for us to take our leave.
For Mike Dixon and myself, David Goldstrom, thanks for your company. See you in just about an hour.